Growing up in the 80s, I watched a lot of teen hijinks movies. One movie with one of the best soundtracks of the decade was The Last American Virgin. And one song on that soundtrack that I just could never get out of my head was I Know What Boys Like by the Waitresses.
I know what boys like, I know what guys want.
Even as a kid, I could tell that there was something different about that song. That's because the Waitresses were a different kind of band. To understand the Waitresses more, let's go back to the music scene in Akron, Ohio during the 1970s. For decades, Akron was the rubber tire capital of the country, but by the 70s, the major tire companies were starting to abandon the city. Akron's industrial landscape and working-class ethos provided fertile ground for artists looking to push boundaries and defy conventions. Devo was one such band. And so was Tin Huey. Formed in the early 70s, Tin Huey blended elements of art rock, new wave, and experimental rock. One day, Tin Huey guitarist Chris Butler wrote a song from the point of view of a female character.
I know what boys like, I know what guys want.
Well, now Butler needed a female to sing the song. So he turned to Patty Donahue, his friend and classmate from Kent State University. Soon at Tin Huey shows, the band would stop the show, put on Waitresses United t-shirts, announce that they were now the Waitresses, bring Patty on stage, and play I Know What Boys Like as well as a few other songs from this fictitious band. By 1980, Butler left Tin Huey and went to New York to shop his Waitresses demos. ZE Records took him on and couldn't wait to meet the rest of the band. Except there was no band. Butler quickly got Donahue to come to New York and assembled other musicians to fill out the band, with the ultimate lineup including Dan Clayman on keys, Mars Williams on reeds, Tracy Warnworth on bass, and Billy Fica, formerly of Television, on drums. Once assembled, the band recorded their debut LP, Wasn't Tomorrow Wonderful, released in January of 1982. While I Know What Boys Like, which went on to become a minor hit, at first seems to have a certain lazy feel to it. Don't be fooled into thinking the band didn't know how to write and play great music. Their blend of funk, ska, pop, and experimental fused together to create a nose-thumbing post-punk album that is every bit as musical as it is sardonic and detached.
Sucker.
But now we also need to backtrack a little to August of 1981, when the Waitresses label ZE Records called Butler to tell him that the band needed to submit an original song for ZE's upcoming Christmas record, A Christmas Record. Butler, who held absolute Scrooge-like contempt for the holiday, was forced to fulfill his contractual obligation, so he reluctantly took scraps of some unfinished songs and pieced together what is my and millions of others' all-time favorite Christmas song, Christmas Rapping. This guy wrote great songs even when he literally didn't want to. Butler's lyrics and Donahue's delivery, countered by the band's cheery musical arrangements, make Christmas rapping an endearing emotional roller coaster of anxiety, loneliness, misanthropy, and ultimately hope. The other big development in the band's trajectory occurred on September 27, 1982, the night the teen sitcom Square Pegs debuted in America on CBS, with a theme song written and performed by, guess who? While Square Pegs only lasted one season, it developed a cult audience on physical media and expanded awareness of the band. But none of it was enough to keep the Waitresses going. After releasing the album Bruisology in May of 1983, the band struggled to achieve mainstream success. Internal tensions and creative differences ultimately led to the band's breakup a few months later. Post-breakup, sax player Mars Williams went on to join the Psychedelic Furs but passed away in late 2023. Tracy Warnworth joined the B-52s and has maintained a successful career ever since. Chris Butler formed his own label and produced artists such as Joan Osborne and Freddie Johnston. Patty Donahue became a talent scout and then A&R rep for MCA Records before dying of lung cancer in 1996 at the age of 40. Though their time in the spotlight was relatively brief, the Waitresses' legacy of punk attitude, pop catchiness, and irreverent lyricism continues to resonate with fans and musicians alike. Do yourself a favor and check out their discography. Thanks for watching Strange Device.